Hey everyone, let's talk about the step-on bindings. There's so much chatter on this topic, so I decided to do a full review after using the step-ons for a whole season and learning them inside out. I wanted to give you guys all the details you need to know and try to clarify some of the misconceptions I hear out there. If you're considering buying the step-ons or just need some help mounting them on your snowboard, check out my installation guide video. First, let's be clear, Burton step-ons are unlike any step-in system that's existed before. Those older systems were pretty heavy. They had this metal plate under your foot that restricted the flex, and the locking mechanism made them feel very different compared to other bindings. In this case, Burton went through a really long process trying to understand how a snowboarder uses the bindings and what happens in every movement and every turn. They took into account the weather and the snow conditions and the repetitive in-out usage and came out with this really awesome product. Now, I get that lots of riders are used to straps and manage them quickly between runs, but the vast majority spends a bit of time sitting on the snow, getting cold, just strapping in. The step-ons provide a different experience. Once you jump off the lift, you don't stop, don't think, you just click in and go. There are a few technical details to note to ensure correct usage and maximum enjoyment. The step-ons have gas pedals under the footbed that allow you to adjust the binding according to your boot size. The correct installation will reduce the toe drag and add more response, but above all, it will make sure you're in the right spot for clicking in. Just open the gas pedals from the back tabs and make sure it matches your boot size as indicated in the back. Now here are some tips on what to expect when you start using the step-ons. First, make sure you give yourself some time to adjust. Using the step-ons, you'll develop muscle memory for this movement of stepping in and out of the binding. So even if it feels a bit tricky at first, it will very quickly become easier, and after a few days you'll just click in as you're getting off the lift. Getting out might also feel a bit awkward at first, but just move your weight a bit forward, twist your foot, and that's it. I personally think that for that second foot, especially if you're on a slight angle, it's easier to step forward and click out. It's also important to note that these bindings will make your board respond differently in a good way, making it just that much more responsive because you're locked in. In my opinion, it won't make your board twitchy or anything, just make sure you give yourself some time to reacquaint yourself with your board. Using the step-ons made my camber feel good much faster in turns and more responsive, which felt amazing. Next, if you're worried you can't freestyle or go to the park with these, don't. You can definitely do your butters, rails, and jumps as you would do with any other binding. Finally, a really great and important advantage of the bindings is that they take away the pressure on your feet. So many riders, myself included, experience pain and tired feet at the end of the day. In a lot of cases, it's because of over-tightening the boots or the binding straps or both. Well, now you no longer have the straps putting pressure on your blood flow. On top of that, you can even just loosen your boots a bit. Unlike loosening regular binding straps, you will still be equally connected to the board, but with just more freedom from your boots. Now let's talk about some of the concerns and the misconceptions. One of the concerns I hear is the lack of micro adjustments, so looser or super tight for those big jumps. Let's be clear, we're talking about a small percentage of riders who are very picky. Most riders just tighten their bindings and go, regardless of their riding style. In my opinion, you have quite a bit of adjustability using your boots, especially if you have the BOA system. Loosening those will give you more freedom, but unlike other bindings, you'll still be fully engaged with your board. Some of the step-on boots have the extra snugger straps, like the Felix or the Photons. This strap behaves similarly to a binding strap. You can leave it a bit loose for more blood flow, comfort, and mobility. Tightening the strap will feel less flexible in the ankle, similar to tightening a regular binding. If you don't have the front strap in your boots, like in the Ruler, Limelight, or Rituals, for example, you can still just loosen the BOAs. Again, whether you loosen or tighten your boots, you won't lose the amazing responsiveness because your heel and your toes are still locked in. Another adjustment you have is with the forward lean, which can make a world of difference once you start experimenting with it and the option it gives you. Now, so many people miss that, but you can adjust the forward lean using the 2 screws positioned inside the high backs. As you screw, you'll see F1 to F4 scale in the back. The higher number means more forward lean and more response, and the lower number means less forward lean and more freedom and mobility. You can even adjust the forward lean unevenly between those two screws to give this extra twist in the binding and match your riding style. Another concern I always hear about is the clicking noise while riding. This never bothered me personally, and I barely noticed it until I heard some of the complaints. These clicks happen when the toe cleats touch the locking mechanism in the front, and it changes with the temperature, so sometimes it's not even there. In any case, this noise is harmless, and with the new version of the step-ons, Burton made an upgrade. The front cleats are easier to engage, and they drastically reduce that clicking noise. To learn more, check out my video on the new models of the Winter 2022 step-on bindings. Another question I hear is, how on earth would you step in when you're on a steep face? Well, I have a simple solution for you. Just sit like you would do with any regular binding, then grab the board, pull it, and click in. Now, perhaps for the main concern I hear about, powder. Can you use it in powder? Seriously, there are no issues, and it's just a misconception and rumors. Here's the thing. When there's a lot of snow, you need to clean the footbed, as you will do with any binding. You don't want to be riding with snow packed between your boot and the board, regardless of what you're riding in. And in case you can't remove all of the snow, remember that you have 2 clicks in the heel. That first click is meant exactly for those snow-packed days. It's not ideal, but it will still work just fine. You might need to twist your foot a bit more, but it will click for sure. And if for some reason you feel uncomfortable or you lose your balance, you can always just sit, shake the snow off, grab the board, pull, and engage the heel and the toes. Now, if you're worried about getting out of the bindings in deep powder, well, all I can tell you is that it's definitely easier to pull this small lever compared to releasing 2 straps in the deep snow. Okay, this is it. I hope I covered everything. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to chat in the comments below. And don't forget to click below and subscribe. I'll have more videos coming soon with the new Winter 2022 step-on bindings.